Welcome to Democracy 2.0 with Wayne Bouchard. Bouchard, I keep on trying to say the D. Bouchard, you don't pronounce it the D.
Okay, that's most people do that,
I know. And we're heard
including me,
on what?
including me sometimes.
We're streaming on malcolmpresents.com, a new streaming service. And we're also producing our own shows as Democracy 2.0 is one of them. And we're on, of course, malcolmpresents.com. And you can also hear us on YouTube or Twitter and see us on Facebook. Anyway, Wayne, what's happening?
Well, there's nothing really of major significance today. Trump hasn't done anything really irrational.
He woke up. He woke up. That's
Get,
irrational enough for me.
he didn't get indicted. We had this big scandal with the classified documents being leaked, and apparently FBI agents swarmed this individual's home today. Some guy who was a member of the Air National Guard in Massachusetts was the leaker, and they hauled him off in handcuffs. So how does an Air National Guard guy get security clearance to have access to classified military documents on the Ukrainian war? I'm not sure about that.
Maybe it was leaked to him by Trump.
I don't think so.
Well, there's something that I heard, and I didn't get the whole story about Trump showing a map.
Yeah. I don't think we have the whole story. I don't think we know what
I don't know what that map was, but it was supposed to be a top secret map that he was showing to various people.
Yes. Showed it on Air Force One, and at some party down in Mar-a-Lago, he was waving this thing around.
But I guess this is one of the things he declassified. This map is hereby declassified. I don't care how important it is or how secret it is. I'm president. I can declassify it.
All this stuff leads me to wonder, how important are these classifications if, for example, George W. Bush and Joe Biden had classified documents in their possession for years. Nobody even knew they were gone. How the hell do they keep track of this stuff? That's what I want to know.
Well, the answer is simply they don't.
So are these things really classified, or they just put that stamp on them for the hell of it?
I don't know. I can't see the classified information. I don't know what they have classified. But suppose, well, who would know? Who would know it?
You don't have, Malcolm. You don't have security clearance.
I don't have security clearance.
Yeah, I wouldn't give you security clearance.
Neither would I, because I'd have it on my show. Are you kidding? Malcolm Presents would have all the. I would, as president of Malcolm, TBG International, which is my company, I would have clearance. I would have the authority to make all these security things non-secure. Or declassify them.
Declassified, or non-secure. Yeah, I like that term, non-secure.
Non-secure. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. When something is secure, does it have to be registered?
Well, apparently not, because they don't know the stuff is missing.
Right. So I guess somebody said, okay, that's classified, and they mark it classified and put it someplace. But nobody knows what's there.
What about this stuff that you're only allowed to view in certain classified rooms? How did Trump get that stuff down to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, it's not. I don't think you can see it in room. I think you only can talk about it in certain rooms.
No,
that
you have to go to certain secure locations to view certain documents, and you're not allowed to take them out of the room.
reminds me of the public library.
Yeah, well, apparently the White House must be one of those secure locations, and obviously the White House is not very secure.
No, it reminds me when I go to the main branch of the New York Public Library on 42nd Street. And I could take out, there are certain books which are reference books only. And of course, and they couldn't be taken out of the library. And of course, most of my term papers were based on these reference books. So I had to spend hours and hours in the library, taking my notes. It was the days before you could take your little camera and take a shot.
Yeah, now you can just get them online.
Now you can get them online. It's
And
amazing.
Just copy and paste them, and then tell the chat bot to write you a paper based on this information.
Well, I remember when the big thing was, it could tell a wealthier family because they had the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yes.
Which you could do a lot of research. Now I have the same thing. On Google, I can ask any questions and they have it.
Oh yeah.
The modern world. Anyway, now and getting back to the questions, I have no idea how they file classified information.
So anyway, that case has now been resolved, and we had a lot of embarrassing things that were leaked. I'm not sure what the intent was of these guys that were playing some game online and swapping this information back and forth. Don't really understand it, but I guess there's a lot of things that old farts like you and I don't understand anymore.
Speak for yourself. I understand everything.
Okay.
And I ain't old.
And you ain't old. I saw a headline today. I didn't get a chance to read the article yet, but it said 90 is the new 60.
That's only if you're 90. If you're 60, don't say that. Rather, in certain instances, people I know, 60 is the new 90.
Yeah, well, so what else is going on today? The Department of Justice, they got a kind of a victory yesterday in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals on the abortion pill, except the Fifth Circuit Court decided that the pill would no longer be available by mail. So if a state banned that pill, you couldn't order it by the mail from, say, New York or California, those liberal commie states that allow this stuff. So the Department of Justice went to the Supreme Court to get that portion of the stay overturned and allow people to use the mail to still get the pill.
Yeah, well, the thing that I read was that states are storing the pill.
States are storing the pills, and then you can go online and buy them from overseas marketers.
That I hadn't heard.
Yes.
Who manufactures them? Are they made here or they made overseas?
No, they're made here by I forgot the name of the company. But I think India mass produces all kinds of generic drugs. So you probably can get it over there.
Well, I don't know if I'd buy looking at the population of India, I don't know if I would buy a birth control pill or a abortion pill there. Because something ain't right.
Touche. They're producing their population is going to exceed that of China shortly.
What is our population now? 8 billion?
It's pretty close to 8 billion. Yes, it may have actually gone over 8 billion, but I don't know. It's not something keep track of on a daily basis.
Well,
I know
yeah,
I know I have a phenomenal mind for retaining all kinds of information, Malcolm, but that's not one of them.
but there's a commercial out, or not the commercial, actually, it was part of the Daily Show. And there were the reporter in the field saying, you know, if there are 8 billion people in the world, or 7 billion, how many are Jewish? I don't know if we went over this last week, but people were saying, oh, it must be, you know, at least, you know, a billion people who are Jewish. Others, you know, guess, you know, between the billion, half a billion. It turns out the total number of Jewish people in the world, 15,000.
No, it's got to be more than 15,000. There are
I think
15,000
no, excuse me,
Jews in New York.
15 million.
15 million, yeah. Yeah,
That's it. Let's go to my Google.
You did mention that last week.
Oh, okay.
So now you're
well, why didn't you stop me?
well, because I didn't realize it until you got halfway through it, and it's kind of
Of the
embarrassing.
world population, how many are Jewish? Oh, no more. Okay. According to the same study, over the next 4 decades, the number of Jews around the world is expected to increase. Okay, to increase from 14.2 million in 2015 to 20.3 million in 2060.
Okay.
Well,
everybody's going to.
And what is the largest population in Jewish population in the world? Israel. Really?
I thought it was New York. New York has more Jews than Tel Aviv.
Yeah, more than 4/5 of the Jewish live in just 2 countries. Actually, the United States 41% and Israel 41%. This is from December 2012. How did we get talking about the Jewish population? I guess because I'm Jewish.
I guess you bring that up
all the time. That's why people are tired of Jews, because they're always talking about themselves.
Well, you know, there's a saying, I may not be much, but that's all I think about. So
anyway,
in the
you
news,
want to talk about the Tennessee legislature?
The Tennessee legislature, I don't know if I mentioned that last week or not. It was in my notes. The last item that they were going to expel those 3 legislatures.
Which they expelled 2 of them.
They expelled 2 of them, and both of them have been reinstated and re-sworn in at the Tennessee State House. So we're back to normal.
And well, the thing was, people, which they failed to mention, they were the 2 black
yes,
men were kicked out, and that there was one white woman.
She was not expelled.
She was not expelled, just by 1 vote.
Correct. So this was some, you know, brainchild of some brilliant Republican in the State House of Representatives in Tennessee. And you talk about something backfiring. My God, this thing turned out to be the biggest news story last week, the tail end of last week, and up until yesterday. I'm sure it's going to fade away now, but it's been in the forefront of the news. And the interesting thing is that when you look at the videotapes of the demonstration, the people in the gallery in the House, and the people that were participating in the sit-in, almost all of them were white. And they're there supporting these 2 black legislators, which I thought was, you know, a significant newsworthy item that nobody mentioned.
Well, the whole thing is what's happening in these with the state legislatures and everything. It's the Republicans who control are gerrymandering all these districts. So even though there might be a majority of black in a certain area, they're all put into 1 district. So
let's look at it from the standpoint of nationally. The Republicans have lost 7 out of the 8 national elections. The last 7 out of 8 elections, they have lost the popular vote. So it is apparent that unless they go to these highly concentrated areas of where they have a Republican stronghold,
Yeah.
and gerrymander, they're never going to have any kind of a say in the House of Representatives in Congress, because they'll just be outnumbered. You have to hand it to the Republican strategists that they had the foresight to see all this stuff that was going to happen and to plan for all these districts and gerrymandering and Supreme Court, or not Supreme, federal
judges
and all that. Man, these guys have really been on their A game for the last 10, 15 years, maybe longer.
Yeah, well, there's certain things that happen in what I've been reading in Texas. Like someone can bring up a case, a national case for in Texas, and there's certain federal courts in Texas, there are 1 or 2 judges.
That one guy, the abortion guy, one guy.
And I forget his name, where it's unpronounceable. But the question is, and he's an outright opponent of abortion.
Oh yeah, makes no secret about it.
Right. So the question is, shouldn't he have, recused himself?
Well, no, because he's all by himself. He has free reign.
I know, but he should have recused himself to another district.
Well, that's taken into consideration that he would have some degree of moral conscience and think that he probably should not be involved in a case like that. But,
oh yeah. Well, I forgot he was appointed by Trump, so he doesn't have any moral conscience. So
speaking of justices, just before we went on the air, there was another news flash. ProPublica has unearthed more information on Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
That he failed to disclose the sale of some family real estate, some property, I think in the state of Georgia, to that GOP mega donor, what's his name? Harlan Crow. He sold them the land in 2014. And if that's the case, according to the article in ProPublica, that's a violation of the law.
Is it?
Yes, according to them, and according to I think it was in the New York Times, or no, it was on CNN. Right before we go on, I scanned CNN to see if anything's happened in the last 60 seconds, and that was the only thing I saw.
What he did is, according to what I read, what he did is accepting the trips was not illegal.
Huh? That's not illegal.
Accepting the trips from whatever was his friend was not illegal.
Right, but selling someone, apparently selling the property was had to be reported.
Oh, that I don't know. Well, do you have to pay tax on that?
Sure, absolutely.
So did he pay tax on it?
I don't know. Don't know. As I said, this was breaking news.
Well, as I know, there's something wrong with his morality, with him and his wife, Ginny.
Yes, there's something wrong with their judgment.
And there was no recourse, no public recourse for that.
Haven't heard a word out of Justice Thomas, Chief Justice Thomas.
Well, I don't think they could do anything.
Disciplinary.
I don't think there's a disciplinary thing. I
Really?
don't think there's a morality, clause in for the Supreme Court. They're just appointed forever.
There's no morality clause. There's no ethics clause. There's no.
And they're just appointed forever, even though that they lied to the to the senators during their hearings. No, I would never. I mean, this is abortion, that's been in the rules, and we can't overturn that.
Yeah, who was that?
All of them, all the conservative ones, Coney and I forget their names. They're all blending into they're all blending into Trumpish, Trump Juniors.
So yeah, on to the next item. There have been calls for your U.S. senator to resign.
Which one?
Feinstein.
Feinstein?
Well,
this is her last go round. She's not running again.
Well, she's been out on medical leave for like the last month.
Yeah, she has something. She has shingles.
Yeah. So she has decided to give up her seat on the Judiciary Committee as a compromise for those who are asking her to resign.
When's the next election for senator? In 24?
4, along with president. So she will not seek re-election this term.
Yeah, well, she's only what, 92 or something?
89.
89.
And Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, this afternoon is trying to get a resolution passed in the Senate that would allow him to appoint another Democratic senator to serve out her term on the Judiciary Committee so that he could act on some judges. They can't act on any judges without her because they would lose the vote.
Well, isn't it for the discretion of I think it's the governor to appoint someone?
No, she didn't resign her seat. She just resigned her post as
her post. Okay.
Member of the Judiciary Committee.
So no one can assign that seat to anyone else?
Well, Schumer had to. They're trying to get a resolution passed through the Senate, which they will be able to do as long as Kamala Harris is in town, in case there's a tie, because Dianne Feinstein isn't there, so that's one less Democrat.
Yeah. They can't do it by proxy or do a.
No. I guess not.
Or a Zoom vote?
A Zoom vote? No, I don't think there are any Zoom votes.
It's so crazy.
Before we run out of time, there's the and maybe I should have had this closer to the top of the list. The trial of Fox News and Dominion voting systems, which I find to be interesting. Actually, I read today that in terms of libel law, this is equivalent to the Super Bowl. That's how important it is. And they started jury selection today.
Yeah, what didn't the judge give a summary judgment that said that that Fox are liars and they had absolutely no standing in the court?
I think yesterday the judge appointed a special master to investigate some of Fox News's claims that they'd made on the air recently.
Well, I know one of the claims is they said that Rupert Murdoch was not part of Fox News.
Correct.
He was part of the corporation.
Correct.
And it turns out, no, he was part of Fox News.
Yes. Yes, and he's been actively, according to the emails and texts that were flying around, he has been actively involved in the editorial decisions at Fox News regarding Trump and the election. So, along with Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, and
You ever listen to
Maria
did you
Bartolova. Pardon?
did you ever listen to that station?
What, Fox?
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes I do, just to see what the other side is saying, and I can only take it in little tiny bits and pieces because they are.
We're very similar to that because I hear them and I don't believe what I'm hearing. I mean, some of the distortion of what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just, not real news.
How are we similar to them?
Well, who was it? Now I'm forgetting who it was that said NPR are not news. They're controlled by the liberals. Now, I
Well,
forget the.
Elon Musk today said that had a statement that he was starting a campaign to defund NPR, National Public Radio.
And if someone else has a campaign to defund the FBI, I think that was Jim Jordan.
Oh, that guy. He just, I'm sorry, but he just turns my stomach. And I'll say that on the air.
Uh-huh. Okay.
He's I think he is probably one of the most obnoxious congressmen I have ever seen. First of all, he always goes around without a jacket on because, that's he's setting himself up as being, I'm different than all the rest of these guys.
Well, he wants to be part of the boys. He's a hard worker.
And he rolls up his sleeves.
Right.
And,
I mean, everything in that is when I was in advertising and public relations, everything that you do, that you wear is pre-designed, people telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is really by accident.
And people dress to present a certain image, to the outside world.
Yeah.
And
well, again, I don't understand. People who listen to Fox, and when they listen to Fox because they repeat the same thing that Fox does. That Fox says. It's amazing because I have friends, and they're still friends. I just sort of like question their judgment.
Now, do you get into political discussions with these friends?
Yeah, and I don't. We don't have heated debates. Maybe I should, because I used to have the show. It's not on. We might go do it again. Conversations with Deborah, a bi-coastal dialogue with a friend of mine, Deborah Manning, who was she was pro-Trump during the administration, and she's very right-wing. And some of the policies, I have to, it's not that I agree with her, but she has the right to feel. But wait, they got to turn it's a spam. Some of the things, she says, to me are completely idiotic, and I'll tell her that. But as far as policy is concerned, I don't know, especially economic policy. I don't know who's right or wrong. I know what I feel. But I don't know whether Biden should have cut off the gas the way he did. That put us more in control of people producing gas, and when we're in control of our own destiny. But then again, I believe in the global warming and that we're contributing to global warming, and if we don't do something about it, all of us, not only the U.S., but all of us, it's going to be the end. The world's going to become uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Just take it today.
I think that the president had to make decisions. From my point of view, from my perspective, when Russia invaded Ukraine, that was the first shot of Russia and Putin taking over Europe. To me, that seems equivalent to Germany invading Poland.
Right. I don't know if he wanted to take over total Europe, but what he wanted to do is resurrect the Russian Empire.
Well, there's a few countries involved.
Yeah, like Poland, Finland, Sweden. Was Sweden part of it?
To prevent that, he has to make some very difficult decisions, and some of those decisions may not necessarily be in the best interest of, let's say global warming long term or short term, but they have to be made.
Right, but the main interest, if we don't do something about global warming, there ain't going to be a world. I mean, take it, today. When is the last time that it was like 90 degrees where you live and 59 degrees in California?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Siri.
Yeah,
or
I don't
Alexa.
know. Oh, okay. No, I don't know what to ask. Anyway, our half hour is up. You heard the little beep, beep, beep?
That beep was like 5 minutes ago, wasn't it?
No, it was this about 30 seconds ago. I
Really?
think you're just having beep in the, you're hearing beeps. A man of your age who's about 60, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I start hearing things.
I start seeing
Oh,
things.
actually, I don't hear things because my wife is constantly reminding me that I can't hear anymore.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Anyway, you have a good week. Take notes.
I'm going to try.
We'll be back.
And I will make a prediction this week that Fox News settles that lawsuit with Dominion Voting before the trial starts.
Okay, the prediction of Wayne Bouchard predicts. Maybe we should have something at the end of a show, the predictions for next week.
There you go.
Anyway,
maybe we'll make some news. Okay.
Send my love to Meg. I'll see you next week.
All right.
You're listening to Democracy 2.0 with Wayne Bouchard and me, Malcolm Berman, heard on, where we heard on? MalcolmPresents.com, a new streaming service.
Fox News.
Turn us on. Tune in and turn out or turn off. Bye.
Okay, I'm leaving.